Hey, good evening, everybody. We skipped last week, but we're here again. And tonight I have a very special guest. Tonight I have Tom, and I want Tom to introduce himself. But before I want him to do that, I want to tell a story about Tom. Tom is the one that is responsible for me doing all the hardware hacking streams. Because I think it was last year that we did a hardware hacking workshop at Campzone, or was the year before?
Yeah, we did.
Okay. And Tom asked me to do the hardware hacking workshop, and I was totally frightened to do that. Not because of Tom, because Tom is a very nice guy, but the people that are in his vicinity, and he himself as well, are very knowledgeable. So I did not want to come up with like some lame hardware hacking workshop thingy, so I did my utter best to make it as cool as possible and spend a lot of time making it something that I was really proud on. And some of the people in the stream were at that same hardware hacking event and complimented me, and that for me was like, this is a job well done. So I really enjoyed that particular hardware hacking workshop, and I did that workshop over and over. I think I did it now 30 or 40 times already, either physical or virtual. And we will have another one tomorrow evening, 7 o'clock, Tom?
7 o'clock until 10.
7 o'clock until 10. So, follow Twitter to see where it's at. Tom changed my life, at least last week. Because he brought me something cool, and you see it on the stream, upper left. This was a badge, and I already told that the Hackzone Campzone badge of last year was the best badge ever made, but I have to take that back, because this year's hard Hackzone Campzone badge is the best one ever made. I'm like a crow that is falling for LEDs and beeps and all the things, and I was like glued to my machine the entire week, building apps, improving apps, creating cool stuff. And I thought, well, what could be more fun than doing stuff together, and see if we can make our own app today. But before we are going to do that, I want to give Tom the mic, because there's an event happening currently. And can you tell about that event that is happening and your involvement in that event?
Of course. Yes, so thank you, Yillis, for the very nice introduction. I'm actually very glad to hear that you really like the event badge of this year compared to last year, because I can tell you from experience it was a very tough one to beat, the last year badge. So for those who don't know me, I'm Tom, one of the organizers of Campzone. This is an 11-day outdoor computer event held every year in the Netherlands. And I am part of the organization that focuses on people that like tinkering, programming, robotics, 3D printing, stuff like this. So I've set up a separate group on Campzone called Hackzone. It's an entire separate field where we do all kinds of stuff like 3D printing and stuff like this. And it is now a 3-year tradition that I make an electronic event badge for people who visit Campzone that does something quirky. And what this quirky exactly is, this changes per year. In the first year, I think this was 2018, we had made a very tiny Donkey Kong board that could learn and replay commands on infrared and 433 megahertz radio frequency. This is the same frequency that is used by click aan, click uit, a very popular system in the Netherlands for making lights turn on and off. And so our badge could learn these commands, and then people could turn each other's lights off. So that was our first experience with badges. And then the next year we just went completely overboard. We made this thing. We dubbed this the eye pane because it features very bright lights. I'm not sure it even catches on camera. I probably need a diffuser on this. So this board is fully programmable in Python. It runs a bunch of different apps. You can upload apps to a server called the Hatchery, made by a group called Badge Team that made some badges for other hacker events as well. And man, this was just so cool to so many people. When we wanted to make another badge for this year, we were having nightmares on how to beat it. But I'm very glad to hear that at least Yillis thinks that it worked out. So this year, you might have seen it already. We have this one. It's a keypad that is kind of magical. You can program it as well. But aside from being programmable, it's the first badge that we've ever made that can do very mysterious extra stuff. This thing can act like a USB keyboard. It can be a USB MIDI controller, things like this. So it was extremely fun to make, and it's very rewarding to see it being used so much already in the first week. So thanks, Yillis, again for the invitation, and I'm sure we can have some fun with it during the stream.
Cool. I don't know if you've seen it, but MCH 2021 is having nightmares of your level of excellence. Yeah, very, very cool. Can you tell a little bit more about the device? Because if I turn it like upside down, let me see if I can somehow move this to microscope. There's like an expressive chip, W Rover chip, and there's another one as well. So there's actually two chips, and that's something that you don't see a lot in the badges. Usually one. So
yeah. So there's an interesting story behind this. I'll first begin at the beginning. The ESP that's on there, the ESP32.
Yeah.
It's very, very important actually. It's the same family of chips that was used in the SHA 2017 badge. It was made by Badge Team. They're actually called this badge.team. And they made this entire firmware platform that makes it very easy to write apps for this particular chip, the ESP32. And since this event, since SHA 2017, we've used, I think now 4 or 5 times this exact same firmware with newer versions of the same chip that they used, ESP32. And we kept building on top of this. So we used the same chip last year for the Hackzone 19 badge, and now for the Hackzone 20, we're using it again. And every time we use it, we get to add a bunch more cool stuff to this platform, and it just becomes a lot nicer to use still. So that's the ESP32 part. It's just an amazing chip. It has a bunch of built-in functions like Wi-Fi, it can do Bluetooth, it has nice audio support, stuff like this. But then, I think this was maybe in November of last year, one of the Hackzone Badge team members, Joris Witteman, he said, instead of doing this normal thing where you can only plug in a USB cable into your badge, you get this serial port that you need a program to talk to with and stuff like this. What if we make it do a bunch of more cool stuff on USB? And he told us that he knew of a very popular chip, the STM32, that could act like it was a bunch of different USB devices. And so we all said, okay, cool, that sounds very nice, please do. So he started drawing some schematics, and he made a small test board. I don't know if I have it here. No, I don't think so. He made a small proof of concept to show us that indeed this chip of his could do a bunch of stuff that we thought was black magic. And in the end, it turned out great. So I don't know if you can show it on your cam, otherwise I can show it on mine. The chips are very close to each other, and they have a bunch of different ways of communicating with each other. So they share an I2C bus, for example. They have a UART bus they share, two actually. They had at one point a spy lane as well, but I'm not sure who kept it, to be honest. And they use this to communicate about nearly anything that the badge can do. I'll give you an example. The LEDs are driven by the STM, but you program them by the ESP. So the ESP has to tell the STM how the light should light up. And when you press a button, the button is read by the STM32, and it triggers an interrupt on the ESP that can then read what buttons have been pressed from the STM.
So it's
all of the USB
via I2C?
Yeah, this is via I2C, yeah, with a separate interrupt pin. So when something important happens, the ESP can know about it very quickly instead of having to hold the entire time.
Yeah.
And all of the USB functionality is done by the STM as well. So whenever you want to, say, type something in the virtual keyboard, the ESP has to tell the STM32 what to do. That then communicates with your computer to do the USB stuff. So it's just one magic chain of ICs.
Yeah. Yeah, it's so epic. Like if you look at the first SHA badge having e-paper on it, so it was like low power consumption, and there were like you had to solder the RGB LEDs, the neopixels to it when you got it, so it was like part of yourself creating it. And then the Hacker Hotel, and like keep adding up, and I think Sebas already mentioned it in the stream. Yeah, it's a waste to create stuff that is just there to collect dust, but have an ecosystem that you can use for other stuff. I know that the Hacker Hotel badges were flashed using a SHA badge. So that's epic. Creating something that lasts so much. STM is a microcontroller from ST microcontrollers. Is Norris asking that? So yeah, I really like this. At the moment I saw this design, I already had in mind like that there's this ecosystem that you have for streamers, where you have like these panels with OLEDs that you can use to switch to your different functionality in OBS, and the smallest one is like €100, and you only have 4 buttons. So you have to like spend a lot of money, like have this enormous one with 16 buttons. Like the 300 or 400 euros, and sometimes they are like 50 off during Black Friday. And I saw this and I thought, oh man, this has so much potential. This is like, yeah, I want to buy as much as possible, but in the end I only
and then you only bought 2.
no, I bought 4, but Jurre and Jelle also bought one, and now I thought Joseph needs to have one as well. Oh, I need 5 more. Oh, I need 10 more. and it's gone. So I'm happy that I have two, but I can imagine that there's like people only seeing it now that yeah would love to have their hands on it. Is there any chance of having a rerun on those?
Yeah, so for last year, the CamZone 19 batch, we got similar feedback. People in the Netherlands that hadn't gone to CamZone told us that they really wanted one. But also, we got requests from Germany, Canada, the US, all over the world, people saying, I need one of these, where do I get one?
Yeah,
And so we decided to do a commercial rerun
yeah,
with Norbert, our production partner in China. And this is actually in the factories right now. It's being made as we speak.
cool.
So there's definitely a chance that we will do the same for
Yeah,
CamZone 20.
yeah. Yeah, it would be epic, and I understand that it won't be against the same prices as it needs to be commercial and no sponsoring. But then again, if you compare those with the commercial products that are out of there, it's so cheap. Like there's so much you can do with it. It contains audio. You have like a keypad. It's a USB rubber ducky. You can use MIDI on it. You can play games on it. Yeah, it's like I only did a few things. Like I'm not a great Python programmer. Actually, this week was one of the first times that I ever did stuff in Python. And I saw an app in the App Store called Soundboard. Was made by Renze. And I thought, wow, this is really epic. I already bought myself, I think for 150 euros, one of those USB keyboards where you can just have a start and stop of an MP3 and play 4 different samples. But I thought, yeah, 4 is not enough. I need more. So having like 16 samples was already epic. And then I thought, yeah, but 16 is not enough as well. So how many can we get on this batch? And I decided to play with it and contact Renze to see if he would want to add some changes to his program. And instead of making these changes in his program, he made me collaborator on the hatchery. And I said, okay, so how do we agree upon what we need to do with this batch? He said, no, just upload it, YOLO. So I've been working up until yesterday evening on creating new sample packs and adding functionality. And there's now an Easter egg in that app, so you can use it as a blue box and dial stuff and create special codes. So yeah, a lot of fun. Someone created a mod player for it. So yeah, maybe I can show some stuff here. These are the white buttons are the buttons that you can program as a button, and there's touch functionality on the top. And the touch functionality is like left, right, home, cancel, and OK. So when you boot the batch, you will see all kind of colors. So these colors you can set up yourself, and when you long press any of the buttons, I don't know if you're able to hear it, but it just told me synthesizer, 4 in a row, BNR radio, MIDI controller, cyber typer, soundboard, bin clock. Oh, again soundboard. Text banner. Photoshop. 538 radio. So by going to like the soundboard, it will look at what samples are on the device, and the pages with samples on the device are white and the empty pages are red. So by switching to another page, so this page, the second page, contains samples, third one, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth, 9 does not. So there's a delay. I'm using a GoPro, so it will take a while. So if I press a button,
I'm sorry, Dave. I'm afraid I can't do that.
so maybe I should.
I'm sorry, Dave. I'm afraid I can't do that.
I mean, it's always there. It's watching. It's been watching me for years. Every time I turn on the fucking computer, it's there looking at me.
So that's like a few examples. So that's the soundboard. I think this was Photoshop, something that I created Friday, I think. Oh, this is 538 radio. Okay, this is the one. So what you can do is like all the buttons are off, and by pressing the button it will change color. So you can create your own, like I can create a circle, maybe, red, red,
It's very funny, even though it doesn't look like it to your eye, these LEDs are actually so bright that the camera has issues with them.
So what you can do is like use a diffuser. I don't have a fancy diffuser as you have, but I can use a piece of paper maybe.
Yeah, super cool. So actually the reason they're so bright is because we've used the same LEDs as on last year's badge, the Hackzone 19 one. And we even used the same LED drivers, which took, I don't think I exaggerate when I say it took 100 hours to put them in the design. Because for every channel, red, green, and blue, of every LED, 16 LEDs, we needed to trace all the way from the LED to the chip.
Yeah.
And this badge is a 2-layer board, so you can imagine we needed those 48 traces all across the board without interfering with any of the other traces on the board. And we have USB there, SDM, ESP, SD card. So it was just it was a huge maze.
Wow.
To solve. Joris Witteman took this upon himself. And the reason he did this is to save €1 per badge in component cost, because originally I designed this badge with NeoPixels that are a lot easier to trace. But we wanted to make the badge cheap enough for people to buy, so we put a lot of effort into making everything as affordable as possible. So I think he put in 100 hours to save, in the end, €500.
On the amount of total badges.
Yeah, on the badges that we've made now.
Yeah. Wow. Very cool. Let me show how you can program the badge. So what you do is this badge contains web USB, and if you connect to it, this is the interface of the badge. Let me switch to another view. Oh.
So by the way, Sebastius is commenting that this is also why there is noise coming out of the speaker when you activate the LEDs. And yes, this is partially true because we drive these LEDs at high current. It does give some noise, but actually we had the same with the NeoPixels. In fact, they were a lot more annoying because the noise there was very high pitched, so it was like a mosquito zooming around in the room.
Second screen, so now you're able to see it. This is the interface, and this resembles the buttons on the screen. And as you see, there's like arrows on top. So instead of having only 16 applications, you can switch to different pages to create a new application. So if I go to the home screen and I go to the second page, I don't see anything here. So if I want to add an application here, I click on it and I select a application and a color. And now you see like the color in the application, but also on the board, which is gone now because something went wrong. Thank you, GoPro. GoPro decided to join people in their hunt for affordable webcams by creating an application to allow you to stream directly from your GoPro without any delay by using USB-C. But unfortunately they only made it available for Macintosh. So while I'm running on a Macintosh, I'm running it on Windows 10. So some people will hate me for that, but I don't mind. Yeah, I'm using like a stream functionality to do that, but it gave up on me. So the application. So these are the apps, and this is the App Store. So these are all the applications that are available right now. And the badge came bundled with 6 applications, Tom?
I think it was 5.
5, okay. And if you look at it now, it's like the first thing that started last week were like radio stations. So it was bundled with BNR radio, and within no time it was like Efteling radio and all local stations, and people created their own application. But yeah, there's like really fancy stuff like the mod player. Let me move this one to the mod player. Oh, there's an update available, so it also tells me that there's a new version of the application available, and it will show that it is installing it. And these are one of the many changes in the UI UX that have taken place over the last week. So if I click on this, I will start the application.
So Sebastius is saying that he has a bunch of people in his inner circles that are interested in a rerun. What will likely happen, Sebastius, is that we will make an inventory again, inventorization of who is interested, much like last year when we had I think it was Google Forms. So you could say you were interested and leave your email address, and we will send you an email if and when there will be a rerun.
Yeah. Looking forward to that. And if you look at this page, which is very cool as well, this will show the actual contents of the badge. So this is the content of the SD card. So there's a application soundboard that has some pages with MP3s, and this is the ESP flash, and it contains config information, lib, apps. So these are the apps. So we installed the what was it again? A mod music player. So if I click on it, I'm able to see like the documentation of the card. Can I zoom this in a little bit? Yeah. But I am also able to see the entire code of the device. So this is the code of the device. So if you have an idea or if you like to create something similar to this, you can get your inspiration from this page, which is in MicroPython. And if you go to docs, this page, and Hackzone 2020. Here you will see the Hackzone 2020 badge, and these are the different API modules that are available for it. So if you want to do something with a keypad, there's already example code that you can use to make stuff. And these are the commands, the parameters, and the returns and descriptions. But if you want to do like other stuff like MIDI or creating stuff with HIT, like the cyber typer is something that just types cyber. So if I was to start the cyber typer program, where is it? So apps, soundboard. It's the red one. So if I now open Notepad, and press the red button, it will type cyber every time. So this is like a simple thing, just typing cyber, but imagine the possibilities that you have by injecting keystrokes into a certain computer.
I would have expected this to be done much sooner than all the other applications.
Yeah.
I'm very curious to see what people will come up with.
I don't know if you've seen the latest soundboard update, but don't connect it to your no. So types a large base64 string and then tries to unpack it and execute it on your computer. No, that has like a lot of things that are still to be found out. So here you see like the different apps. So this is like the Photoshop thing that I created, and what you also see is like if you have an app, it should be possible to configure it. So in this app, this Photoshop app, you will see like a number of colors. So these are the colors that I actually stole from the where is it? Or parts of it of the mod music player, because they were very soft and cool colors. So but what if you want to have like totally different colors? Well, there's a settings option, and this settings option allows you to create different colors. So I created like the red, green, blue, and red, green will be yellow, and blue, red will be purple. So these are different colors, but you can like click on it and remove it, and now you will only have the possibility to select two colors. So if I remove this one, and if I remove this one, and this one, and this one, and I set this one to red blue, so I save this app. Now go back to the second page and set this one to the Photoshop, this one, Okay. Oh, and I do not have my GoPro ready. Okay. Yeah. Starting up again. Need to configure the RTMP stream. Hate when this happens. I used to have a different camera.
Configuring streams during the stream.
Sorry?
Configuring streams during the stream.
Yeah, absolutely.
Streamception.
Streamception. Yeah, thank you for filling in the voice here.
So I think way back someone asked if this was based on ESP IDF, and yes, it is. In fact, the Badge team platform, that's all based on ESP IDF, as well as a MicroPython fork by a guy called Loboris. I think it's really cool to see as well that I think Joris, the guy who made our USB stuff and also at the beginnings of our web interface, he's in the chat as well.
Oh, cool. Very cool.
No. So Sebastius said that they already decided they will use his work in the MCH badge, which I think is a very good idea.
Yeah. It crashed again, so much for the latest firmware. Some devices, like badges, are better than other devices, like GoPros.
I am very glad you don't see my list of things that make Hackzone Badge crash.
Just trying it again. I becoming somewhat a tester myself.
In fact, Twits just commented when you were showing the files section that the cache folder on your badge contains a lot of garbage.
Oh, wow.
And this is a known problem. We don't know why it happens, but sometimes folders in the FAT file system get corrupted, and when we list the directory for that folder, we get like 60 entries that contain only null bytes. So the file name is entirely null bytes, and then there's a period, a dot, and then the extension is null bytes again. So it does very neatly have an extension, but the extension is completely null bytes.
Yeah.
We don't know why this happens yet. We have to figure it out.
Yeah, this is... okay.
I guess we will have to do without overhead cam, huh?
Yeah. Or put my microscope very, very high. So what my idea was about this stream is, instead of showing you all, is like collaborate and create our own application. So in the badge itself, if you go to programming and files, there's like a section flash cache scratch, and you can run this to see if you can make your own stuff. So yeah. If you have ideas on what to create and how to create it, just comment up.
Yeah, so this is your chance to give us ideas of what to build. If you have a crazy idea, be sure to share it. I was working today on a sequencer app. So this is much like a drum kit, you might know, where you just press buttons randomly, and the result of this pressing buttons is music that makes sense.
Yeah.
It's automatically synchronized to the beat and stuff like this. I'm making an application that can do this with samples other than only drums. So the goal is that you can make a nice sounding dance music song without actually knowing what you're doing. This would be very fun for me.
Cool. Yeah, I had Crazy, who's not in the chat today, explain me how the synthesizer work, as I was trying to use it like a keyboard without knowing about the black keys. Then it will make crazy patterns instead of music. So
Nice.
yeah.
So Gilles, Jay Hand made a suggestion that I think we can do, and it might not even be that hard. So they suggested a controller for their media player for during gaming that has support for media buttons on a keyboard. So I imagine like a play, pause, volume control, stuff like this.
Okay.
And I think we can do this very easily with the hit library. We'll have to see.
So hit.
So let me grab the documentation.
Okay. So what we first need to do is import the correct libraries. So scrolling. Can I put this somehow to the left?
Yeah. So you will need the hit module.
Yeah. So
as well as the key codes module.
So these two. And I need something to type. But that probably won't be cyber, but will be a key, like a volume up, for instance.
Yes, yeah. So instead of doing keyboard type, we have to send raw key press events.
Okay.
Because the play button is not a string that we can send.
Yeah.
We have to do it one level lower. And the key codes are not in the documentation, but they are in the source code. So I'm grabbing that right now, and then we can see.
Okay.
So the key codes module is essentially one file with all the different values you can send in the USB HID spec, the human interface device spec, I think. So it contains all the possible keys that can be on any keyboard that will ever be made for USB. We just have to find the right values. So when we do, the end result of this is going to be an app that can play and pause music on your computer on your event badge. Let's see. Almost have it.
So which?
I will also send it to you, Jelle, so you can show it maybe.
Yeah, or put it in the chat.
Yeah, but I don't know how.
Okay.
What chat?
This chat.
Yeah, but I can't type in your interface.
Oh, okay. As a user, you would be able to type it in. Okay, so I have it here.
I can do it on Twitch, I guess.
Yeah, on Twitch or YouTube or whatever.
Yeah, okay. So I'm looking into my desktop PC screen here, but I'm actually working on my laptop, so it won't work very
So
okay, so this key code file, it contains all the possible keys that we can ever press.
Yeah.
And now we just have to find the right one. So I propose that you and I search at the same time. So there are already keys like here, like Control, Alt, Shift, F1, things like this. But we need to find the media ones. And I'm hoping that I didn't strip them out. Knowing myself, this could actually be an option.
Application?
So I figured
no, it's menu.
Who would ever do?
Maybe a combination of Fn and F1?
No, I think it's actually a separate key.
Oh, Maroon said it's 72 and 73.
Nice. Okay, so we got it already. Yeah, we can just use those byte values directly. It's no problem.
So they, let me see, 73. No, they are not in here.
Okay, so in the meantime, I will Google the hit spec just to verify. But we can use these values in the meantime.
Shut down.
Yeah.
And this concludes our session. That would be like just another episode. I did not show any API key today. Yeah.
We can make an Alt F4 application.
Yeah. It was just suggested. rm-rf slash. I would suggest to add a dash no preserve root, but and there was a shutdown suggestion earlier on in the chat. So how would I send those to the? So
actually, I just Googled it and I found a GitHub repository that has 155 stars. I'm assuming this is a highly reputable source.
Okay.
And they say that the play pause button is E8.
EA?
So I will
8.
E8.
Okay.
8.
So that's after the right GUI. Okay.
Yes.
So can I use defines in here?
Yeah, but we can just use. Yeah, that works. But we can also just use the bytes directly. But if you want, you can make a variable. It's nice.
Yeah, that's like for people to do. And instead of using the keyboard type, what would you use?
If you go back to the documentation, it lists it. I think it's called key down, key press. If you scroll up a bit. Yes, there we go.
Okay.
Okay, so here we provide an array of bytes that represent the key codes that we want to send.
Okay. So let's test it by starting volume up.
Sure, yeah, that sounds like a safe option.
Yeah. And let's use the constant then. Would that work, dash define? No, that would not. So I need
to... we have to do a slight change. Keyboard press keys expects an array of bytes or a byte string. So we can't just give one number because this would be an integer type.
Yeah.
So instead of doing this, we have to pass a string like such.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's easy for you to see the message I'm sending. Sending Gilles messages over.
Yeah, but I can relay those. Yeah, covert channel. This is like. Where's my Notepad++? Node.
So I just I sent Gilles a byte string example. So this is just a binary string where we can put hex values. And the hex value that I sent is 00. We have to change that to whatever the media volume was.
Okay.
So the USB hit spec allows us to send 6 key presses concurrently at the same time. But we need only one right now. I think just the volume up or volume down. And so we only need to send one byte with this keyboard.
So it needs to be like this. So do I need to? These are all individual devices. So I can just include them here like this. Hold on. I'm using another screen to search and replace all the...
So I think the easiest thing to do is to just take the byte code.
Yeah.
So the hexadecimal value. Because if you want to put them in variables, then we have to change the way that we build our byte array. Which is also possible, but I think it's easiest to just use the string that I sent.
I can't use a constant as a byte array.
No, you can, but we just have to construct it differently. I can also send you this example.
You sent me another example. Okay.
because you can do this. So I'm sending Yillis now an explanation of how to make a bytes array from individual integer values, from whole numbers. Specifically for the volume up, I think we were gonna do, right, Yillis? Volume up.
Yeah. Okay.
So if you pass that into keyboard press
I will.
keys, it should work fine as well.
So for the people here, I can do. And another one. Okay.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay.
So what this says for everyone listening to the stream, we want to send to the keyboard interface the key down event for a list of buttons that contains one button, namely the media volume up button. So we could add a bunch more there. We could also type at the same time the play pause button or eject media or whatever. But right now we need only one value, which is this volume up button. Okay, so what happens now, Yillis? If we execute this,
it will
after
only do it once and then stop.
Yeah, no, actually, it will hold it down, so it will max out your volume.
Okay. So how do I unpress it?
Right, so we need to wait a little while, and then we need to release the key again.
And how long do we need to wait?
For example, 100 milliseconds. It sounds nice. It's just a very short press. So indeed, you import time, and we can use time.sleep for 0.1 seconds. Right. And then we need to keyboard.release.
Okay, that should be in the documentation.
Yes, it should be, and I think it is as well.
Okay. Keyword release. Okay. Click here. Keyword release. So this will do it once. And then we add.
So there's a few things that we need to change here to make this work. First off, we need to comment out all no, we don't need to comment out the variables, but we need to add equal signs after their names.
Okay.
So lines 3 to 22, we need to have equal signs.
Yeah.
And for the press keys, I think we need to say hit dot keyboard press keys, but I'll look up the exact documentation. Yeah, so the keyboard press keys and the keyboard release keys, they need HID dot before them.
Sorry, need.
There you go. HID dot.
Okay, yeah, understand. Because we're using the HID.
Yeah.
Okay.
So indeed, we're using the HID module, and then we're calling the function keyboard press keys and keyboard release keys.
Important. Save.
Okay, so now you added all the way at the bottom system.launcher.
Yeah.
And this restarts the badge. It brings up the home screen again.
Yeah.
So here, if you start this application, it will do one volume up.
Yeah.
And then immediately reboot.
Yeah.
We might want to change this so that every time you press a button, it calls volume up. What do you think?
One step at a time. See if this works.
Okay, so before you run this, I would then recommend to add a timer after the release keys. Because system.launcher reboots the badge, reboots it into the home screen.
Yeah.
And if we reboot before the key release has actually been sent to your computer,
okay,
we don't know what happens.
So that needs at least
100 milliseconds is fine, but make it half a second for our use.
Yeah. Okay. Let me see which one it is so I can unplug it. Okay. So, okay, let's let's copy the code and run it. Nothing happened. Now there's another thing you can do. So this badge has a serial connection. So we can run this while going here. We see Scratch is being run, and we have an error in the code.
Oh no, I can't read this, so you have to tell me what's wrong.
Yeah, okay, I can solve that, I think. So appearance, font.
And for the people watching, this serial monitor that you see here is how we used to program badges in the past 4 years. So this this web interface stuff, that's now all luxury that we have thanks to yours.
So on Scratch line 26, there's an error.
26.
Hit keyboard.
So it's the release keys. And why do we have an error?
Or the time sleep is incorrect. I
That should
imported
be
time.
fine.
Yeah. Let's
The
look
press
at
keys is
the
fine.
code.
So what is it actually complaining about? What's it saying?
Ah, sorry.
Because that release, it should be the simplest function of them all.
Yeah.
It just cancels all of the commands.
Module object has no attribute keyword release keys.
That's very interesting. So I have the actual source code in front of me here,
Yeah.
and the function is called keyboard release, not keyboard release keys.
Okay.
So the documentation is wrong.
So let me make a note to self.
So in my defense, the example is correct. There it says keyboard release.
Yeah, the example is
The
correct.
complex example. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so I will fix the documentation. Yeah. Nothing to see here. Move along.
Save, copy, paste, run. Okay. Run.
What does it do now?
Nothing much. Maybe I can turn down the. This is volume up. So
Yes.
let me see. It's now on 68 on my screen. Let's run it.
Tension builds up.
Oh.
Pressure intensifies.
It did not do anything.
Mwop, 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 mwop.
So if
So did it run to begin with? Can we
Sorry?
check this? Did it run?
Did
to
it
begin
run?
With? Yes.
It did run, yeah. At least according to this one. Does it need more time than 100 milliseconds?
I don't
be
think so,
pushed?
but we can try it. We can try it.
Let's do 200 milliseconds.
So I
was
hope I didn't just
expecting
get the,
something on my
the
screen.
wrong key code.
It's 2 now. Run. No, Is there something
That's
that's
too
more
bad.
obvious except shutdown?
I mean, you mean can we try something different from volume up?
Yeah, I need
That
to.
depends. That depends. Do you have a CD-ROM player in your computer?
No, I don't think so.
That would have been the most obvious one, I think.
Yeah. What else do we have here? Media, scroll down, up, stop. Key media.
Yeah, so Nora is asking, what does this app do? We're trying to build an app that increases the volume, and it was supposed to be very simple, but like anything in life, reality is harsher than theory. So we're trying to figure out now why it doesn't work.
What's media calc? Is that like the calculator?
I have no idea.
Let's
I also
try
don't
that.
know what media coffee is. I mean, I would be very interested in my USB keyboard giving me coffee.
Calculator, that's what happens when you do a buffer overflow, right? If I see a calculator, we're home free. Is that a calculator? I hear a beep, or not?
So Joris just sent me a message saying that key volume up is 0x80. 80.
80.
So it might be that indeed I gave you the wrong value.
Okay.
I don't know now what button was pressed on your computer.
0x80.
Yes, 80.
Okay. Save, run. Okay. So it is 90 now, and I can switch it. Okay. Run it.
Tension intensifies. Can we do it now? Can we not? So Sebastian, the downside of muting and unmuting is that then Yillis cannot hear anything.
No, that's correct. No, does not do anything.
So either Joris is wrong as well, or
can we
not be able to send it this way.
do a b slash x 80 like this? This was
Yeah.
Okay.
They should be the same, but we will see. So now instead of sending a bytes array, we're sending a byte string, which for our purpose is interchangeable. It doesn't matter.
No.
So I'm trying to find documentation on this hit spec, but I find that it's quite difficult to do whilst also explaining stuff.
Yeah, and it's a good learning experience. Exactly, that's what Jelle says. So, although you probably don't want it to be, I think being able to solve issues here and seeing on how to get there.
So
really
what we can do if we can't figure this out,
yeah,
is to send a normal character key code.
Yeah.
So just the letter A, for example.
Yeah, we can do that.
And then we can show at least that this works.
So what's the key code for an A? That's
we have this in the key codes file.
That's not for one, I think.
No, I don't think so. So let me see.
So that should be in here.
Key codes file.
A is 84.
Yeah, so capital A is 84 indeed.
Okay. Save.
Now, if this doesn't work, we have a very interesting thing going on, because this is exactly the code that is being used by the keyboard type function.
Yeah.
So it should work directly in theory.
Oh. No.
Now this will be too slow, I think.
This would be too slow.
Yeah, switching to the other application will miss the key press.
Okay. What I then do is I put a sleep before.
Yeah, or you can select the terminal here.
Oh yeah.
But sleep works, maybe a couple seconds. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. It rebooted. Did not do anything.
It did not do anything.
No, at least not show an A on the screen. So let's
very interesting.
Let's take the other thing, the normal typer, to see if that works.
Yeah, sure. That sounds good. So this is HID.keyboard type. You can pass that a normal string.
Okay, so
in the meantime, I will look at the cyber typer, which is one of the pre-installed apps.
Underscore type?
Yeah.
A, without a B. Okay. Save, run.
Will it work? Will it not? We will see.
Did I tell it to start? Run.
Yeah, is it actually starting? This is now an interesting question, I think.
I can see that it's starting, and you cannot. Thank you, GoPro. Yeah, this is working. There's an A.
Nice. Good. So typing is working, but these media keys are not. It would be interesting to find out why.
Yeah.
But we will figure this out at a later point.
Okay. Any other suggestions?
For the next one, I won't say that it's super simple anymore, okay? I promise. I jinxed it.
Text-to-speech messages. That would be cool. And I have some suggestions. As I don't know if you've seen it on Twitter. There were some computer jokes. There's a thread going on.
Nice. I haven't seen, no.
Oh, it's a computer. Let me see. My friend. What's his name again? Scott. So Scott has had a thread about computer jokes, as in TCP and like some other stuff. Trying to search it here.
Yeah, so this text-to-speech module I implemented, it's actually, there's a funny story behind it. It uses Wi-Fi, so it asks a server over the network to do some speech synthesis, and then it downloads the MP3 file that results from it and plays it. But actually the server that it asks is the Google Translate server. This is based on another library called GTTS, which stands for Google Text-to-Speech. It's a Python module that does some very nasty hacks to pretend to be the Google Translate web page to the Google Translate servers, and thereby get the speech that you would normally get if you click on the loudspeaker button when you translate something. So we have a very minimal port of this GTTS library on our badge.
And is it not rate limited, as in APIs, or will it break?
I don't know. Probably, maybe.
You might need to use a VPN for your badge.
No, so actually, it's the same thing that would happen when you press in your browser on the loudspeaker button. So as long as we all use different IPs, I think we're fine.
Okay. Yeah, I have enough IPs. So these are like the jokes. I have a TCP joke, but no one wants to hack it. I had a database joke, but I dropped it, and it's like totally lame jokes, but still funny. And yeah, it's going on for a while. So this could be like yeah, it's not neatly saved. Otherwise, we could like grab it from Twitter. And then speak it. And there's another option that you can do. Like I created a piece of code as a hack for the. So am I able to?
Gilles, do you want to hear my favorite UDP joke? So the joke goes like this.
Oh, you expected an egg. Sorry. Okay.
So the joke is that you don't get it in the right order. You want to know what the funniest UDP joke is?
Yeah, cool. This is what I created for the TTS. So instead of playing them, just recording them as samples.
Nice.
So you have your own. I use this for the international spelling alphabet in the soundboard. But you could use this to create numbers, samples of numbers to be able to pronounce even though you don't have Wi-Fi yet. That's a trick that I used. Okay, so we're going to leave this one. And we were going to do something TTS. And for TTS, you need Wi-Fi. So first go to the examples. So go to the Hackzone Badge. This is.
I hope you already configured your Wi-Fi, by the way. Yes. Otherwise, you have to do it live on the stream.
Yeah, I do that all the time. My SSID is M5stack and my password is hackmenot. So if you want to hack me during the streams, come and stand in front of my house. So this is like the standard example. Wi-Fi UGTTS. It connects. If there's no Wi-Fi, it will print "Oh no, panic, no Wi-Fi." Import system and then starts the launcher. If it does work, it will state this is a text, and we'll create a test, and we'll create a sample file. Let's leave that. And there's like 2 language examples. Let's see what that will do. So save it and run it.
So Daniel, he's a mate of mine. He has a joke in the chat as well. He said, "I have an API joke, but 500."
Oh, nice. This actually worked quite well. So let's hold it in front of the microphone.
This is a test. Slaap kindje slaap. Dommage.
So the different languages. To
To me, it sounds like the Dutch one is spoken by Queen Beatrix.
Yeah, and the French one was in a totally different volume. So let's create. Now my Python skills will be tested. So there's like jokes, and it will create like a list of somehow. Can you do a multi-line? So this is one. Does it work like this?
Yeah, you can.
Okay.
You can just press enter here.
There's no special character that you have to put behind it to say that it's multiple rows.
If you do it outside of the quotes, you don't.
Okay. Cool. So I have 3 jokes now. And can I do a length? So I need a random. Is it like random? The library for it?
Yes.
Okay.
Although I don't think we have a random.choose. You have this in normal Python. You can just pass a list and it will give you the random entry from it.
Okay.
We have to use random.randint.
Random.randint.
Yeah. So this gives a number in a range.
Sorry?
No. Also, we need to pass 2 numbers.
Yeah.
It's a lowercase I, and we need to pass 2 numbers in this function.
It's like
the lowest number that we want to have, and the highest number that we want to have.
-1 or +1? Is like the len of jokes enough?
So we need -1 here.
Okay, -1.
Yeah, because otherwise we get an integer from 0 to 3, including 3.
Okay, yeah.
But if we try to get jokes 3, then it gets the 4th entry in jokes, and we don't have one.
Okay, so this will play joke number, a random joke.
Yep, that's right.
Okay. Run.
Joris also put a very nice joke in the chat. He said, there are 2 hard things in computer science. Cache invalidation, naming things, and off by 1 errors.
We need to edit.
So that seems to work, right?
That seems to work. So,
nice.
But this is not cool, because you need to restart the application every now and then. So what we need to do is we need to make it aware of using buttons. So if we were to add buttons here, where's my, is this one? So there's buttons. Where's my example code? Oh, it's keyboard, keypad. So we
So actually, Renze and I work a lot on this badge team platform firmware, and across all the badges that we have a common library called buttons. And I thought, actually, I didn't think for this badge it would be nice to use this buttons API, because I didn't see how to use it properly. But I realized after releasing the badge that it would actually make a lot of sense to put this function in there. So now Renzo was telling me, Tom, you're so crazy that you didn't put this in the one function we had across all the badges that we ever made, and he's completely right, of course. So currently we have this keypad API, but later we should change it to the buttons that work on all the badges.
Yeah.
So what are you doing now, Yillis?
What I'm doing is I'm creating a function called onKey, and if a key is pressed, I don't care which one, it will play a joke. So
nice.
This will not work, as you need to add a key handler to activate the function. So save it and run it.
I think. Oh no. So you did import keypad. It's on line 8.
Ah, yeah. Will that work?
Yeah, it will work fine.
Why does it restart then? That's probably improper indenting, invalid syntax, line 6. So
I think maybe you forgot a square bracket.
No, it's double single quotes. Double single quotes. And
Nice.
let's correct the import.
Now there's no quote.
Sorry?
There's no quote now at the end. It deleted both of them, I think.
Yeah? Oh. Okay. Save. Okay.
Does it work?
No, it did not. So I need to start it again. Line 6. Okay. At the end is a dot instead of a comma.
Ah.
And this is a Greek question mark. Okay. Will it blend? Okay, this works. No, does not.
Also,
Line 10.
Robot Man put a very nice joke in the chat. Either that or he crashed.
Sorry. Line 10 on key. Cannot convert int. Line 10. On key. It's on key.
Yeah, I don't directly see a problem here. So you might have to put the string function around key index is pressed, but I think it should do this automatically.
That should be commas. So this is also something that should be changed in the. And this is
in
a
the
boolean
example.
in the example.
Ooh. No.
These are valuable evenings, Tom.
It's a learning experience.
It's a learning experience.
Yeah. No, to be honest, I'm very glad we were able to make it at all. These Bash projects, they cost hundreds of hours of people's volunteer time.
Yeah.
So it's a very good feeling to have something that functions when the event starts. Because even this is always a miracle.
I have a TCP joke, but nobody wants to hard things in computer science, cache and validation, naming things, and off by 1 errors.
Nice.
There are 2 hard things in computer science, cache and validation, naming things, and off by 1 error. Ransomware joke, but before I knew it, I was tested.
It works. So
does it immediately start playing the next one when you press? Is that intentional?
no, that is not intentional. So how can we prevent it from doing so?
It's quite odd, isn't it? So you do check if it's pressed. You don't get it once you press down and once you press up. This is not the case. So why is it playing twice?
So always add a printf for playing joke.
Joris is saying in chat that he enjoyed the 1 week coding session that he had this week. So 1 week, I think maybe 2 weeks before the gold release of the firmware.
Yeah.
Joris and I were coding together the entire day for almost a straight week in a row. Every free hour we had, we were on Google Hangouts, just ramming out firmware together. I think we were working mostly on the web interface, actually. And this really shows in our commit history. So on GitHub, you see one peak for this week where we implemented 80% of everything.
Yeah.
And then it went back to normal. Someone is asking, is there any button debouncing?
I have a TCP joke, but nobody wants to hack it.
I'm not sure, to be honest.
There are two hard things in computer science: cache and validation, naming things, and off by one error. Two hard things in
So
computer
it
science:
quits
cache
the
and validation,
text-to-speech.
off by one error.
So it returns, but you're not able to. It will start it again, so it will start multiple TTSs.
Ah, that's very interesting. So there was a question about debouncing.
Yeah.
In the beginning, we looked into it. I'm not sure if in the end we ended up putting it in there. Maybe Joris knows. But the signal was so stable during my testing that it wasn't actually necessary. So I'm not sure whether it's in the firmware now or not.
I did not run into debouncing issues on the firmware. Like if you do a print, it's very clean.
Yeah.
So this is just like the function is stopped and it is started again. Yeah, you should have like a modal version of TTS that does not stop before. So how can we solve that? Like add a few seconds afterward?
Yeah, possibly. I don't know.
So time sleep 5. What happens if you remove the problematic joke? Then we lose to a mediocre joke. Nice.
I have a TCP joke, but nobody wants to hack it. There are two hard things in computer science: cache.
No.
So Julius, maybe you can explain what you're doing. So you're pressing a button.
I'm pressing a button, it's playing audio, and then this is not going to help me, as the keypad handler does not care about my time sleep and will run the on-key function again.
Right, this is
So
correct, I think.
Can I disable the keypad handler?
Yes, but the more interesting question is, why is this happening to begin with? Because you should only have two calls on key, one for the press and one for the depress.
Yeah.
And the depress we ignore already because the if statement.
Yeah, but I keep spamming the keys during the play.
Oh, okay. So you press it multiple times.
Yeah. I'm doing the testing as well.
Okay, yeah. So
please don't do that.
Since we're doing
it's solved.
Since we're doing this in a single thread, what you can do is just have a global variable saying is playing or whatever.
Nice.
You set and unset that there.
Is playing is false.
Yeah, so if you want to do this neatly, there's a way to register for a callback when audio finishes playing. It's called the unfinished playback callback.
Yeah.
But this will be for sure too complicated to do here. So instead, what I recommend is just to do a time sleep and then set is playing back to false.
Is playing is true. So how do I do an end statement in is pressed? Is that like end?
Yeah, you can do that. Yeah.
And not? Does that work as well?
And not is playing. Yeah.
Do we need to use parentheses?
No.
Okay. So after it's done.
In fact, if you run this Python code through linter, it will probably complain about the parentheses. It will say, "Oh, there's redundant parentheses in Python. People don't like this."
Yeah, I really like lint in the etchery. You're using wrong too many modules.
Very confrontational, isn't it?
Yeah. I thought my software was clean. Oh yeah, thank you, Joseph. Let's do it again. It's it's false, not false. Flash. Okay.
Oh, we still need a time, Gilles. A time.sleep. After the speak.
That's not what it's.
I think the speak returns immediately, but well, we'll see.
Keypad in 13 in key local variable. Yeah, I need to make it global. Is playing.
Yep.
Otherwise, I'm not able to. So why do we need the sleep?
Because I think speak returns immediately, but we'll see. But I think speak will start playing music and then return already to you, whilst the music is still playing.
Oh, okay, like that.
I have a TCP joke, but nobody wants to hack it. There are two hard things in computer
works.
science. Cache.
Nice.
And now I created a VFAT error.
A VFAT error even. Oh no. Yeah. So Joris is in the chat here, and he will be interested to see this. I was mentioning this to him this afternoon. So sometimes the FAT file system gets corrupted. We don't know why or how.
Okay.
And he was looking for an example. Well, Joris, here's an example.
Op je wenken heet het. Okay. Let's try it again. And we're not like writing to the file system, right?
No, we're reading, but now something that we're reading was corrupted before.
Okay.
So we might end up getting this error more often, obviously.
So.
I have a TCP joke, but nobody wants to hack it. There are two hard things in computer science. Cache.
Okay.
Sounds like it's working, right?
It's working, but as in I'm annoying the application by pressing random buttons while it's playing. So I'm doing the idiot.
Yeah, but it's not playing twice anymore.
It's not playing twice anymore. So
very good.
If Gilles turns to the side, you can see through his head. So this is actually working.
We made a successful application.
Yeah, and actually, am I able to use the app? Yeah, I think you need to go, right?
Yeah, I need to leave.
Yeah. Can we use the app config on a Scratch application, or does it need to be in the apps folder?
No, you can use it in whatever application you like.
Okay.
That's why the first argument that you pass into app config is your application name, because it doesn't automatically assume this. So you can pass in there whatever you want.
Okay. Cool.
Of course, it would be good hygiene to not do this erratically.
Of course.
Because it will fill the user's screen with all kinds of app settings.
Yeah.
But it's possible for sure, yeah.
Yeah. Because then we can put a few jokes in here already, and you can enter your own jokes in the settings screen.
Yeah, it will work for sure.
Or maybe add a MQTT server that will host your favorite jokes. Or add 2 badges, one with the MQTT server and one with the client.
Nice.
So many possibilities.
I don't know if we shipped with a server actually. So we did ship a client for sure.
Yeah, I
But
said
the
that.
server part, I don't know. We have to think. We have to look.
Yeah, is it possible to create it yourself using the software that is in there?
Yeah, for sure. So you have a module called uSocket or uSockets
Yeah.
that just gives you raw access to the network, and you can make whatever you want.
Cool.
But of course, someone will have made this already, and so it's much easier to reuse what they've made. So it might be nice if we don't have it yet to put it in the firmware by default. But I will check it.
Dautsky is asking where he can learn more about this badge. So if you go to the to this page, where is it? This one. So that's docs do. Let me put it in the.
I would actually recommend that you go to cz20.hags with a z.
Okay,
.1.
sorry. Let me type it in.
It's also on the back of the badge. I don't know if it shows.
It's on the back of the badge.
There are 2 hard things in computer science: cache and validation, naming things, and off by 1 errors.
So that URL that I just said, that's our main wiki page. And it describes what the badge can do, how to assemble it, and stuff like this. And it also links to the badge team documentation that Gilles was about to show. So here you can find more general information, frequently asked questions, stuff like that. And then I think the third link in getting started is this docs.badge.team that explains what kind of Python modules are in there, how you can use them, and things like this. So Sebastius was asking in the chat whether I will be at his soldering presentation as well. Sometime next week, hopefully, Sebastius will be doing a live stream on the Hackzone online channel, twitch.tv, where he will upgrade our audio path, so he will hopefully decrease a bit the noise you get when you shine bright LEDs. And I might be there, Sebastius. I can't say for sure. It depends on what time slot you get, I guess. So I have to work next week. The only day I have off is Tuesday. So during working hours, I can't. Otherwise, I might.
Cool. Thank you very much, Tom, for being here and for helping us through this experience. Very, very cool. Thank you for the endless amount of time I've had and still to come with this badge. Like so many cool stuff in here. And hope to speak to you soon.
Thank you for inviting me. It was very nice. Thanks for everyone for watching. And also for the now increasing list of bugs that we have to fix.
Okay.
I will talk to you all soon. Cheers.
Cheers. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Okay, was very cool having Tom here and having so many of you here from the badge team. So cool creating an app for this one. We'll try and make this one into a real one and put it on the hatchery later. Is there like anything that you still want to do, or you want to make it a short one? It's fine by me as well. Or do you want to like tinker some more with the badge or something else? This one? Two to the right. Yeah, let's do that. Nice one, Joseph. Let's open my one password on the streaming channel. There's something else I was working on today. This is a Sonos device, a RF bridge, and I was flashing this to the, what's the name of the software again? Forgot it. Sonos software flash. The Tasmota. So this allows you to connect to RF devices and like flash your default software to this software version to be able to make it more intelligent and don't have your data being exported somewhere else. So just fiddling it with it for the first time. Crazy was doing a talk on MQTT, so this will be my start. And Joseph is pushing me as well. I have a CO2 sensor that still needs some work, and I have a particle sensor that needs to feed some MQTT channels. So this is something that I am working on. So. Don't think I need this one anymore since I'm not in the channel. So is there anything else that you want to play with or do, or tell me. And otherwise it's also okay. Yeah. Let's make this a shorter one. Yeah, I haven't done anything yet. I hope that somewhere next weeks we will have some time spending on it and making it work to see how it works. So we'll order some other stuff, ESP8266 to flash, and see if that works. It was indeed intense and was quite deep. At first it looked like something that was fairly easy, and then you run into like some new challenges. But yeah, that's fine. That's how you solve those things, and that's how you make a product better as well. So I think like the collaboration with the people involved in this project is quite cool, and I've seen so many improvements in the entire ecosystem. Yeah, it's like tremendous. I'm really impressed by the amount of knowledge of the people involved here. So I suggest to call it a day and give you all some rest. And I hope you enjoyed this one. And hope to see you next week. Okay, bye.